What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of Married to Medicine, Season 8, Episode 11, Club Q Quarantine. Well, bitch, Club Quarantine, okay? Because, that's what it is. But anyway, so we get into the episode, seeing what everybody's doing with their jobs and all that stuff. And then we get into Toya's situation, okay? Toya, Toya said, I know people are jealous of me right now. I said, girl, of what? Bitch, of what? She was like, because the kids are in school now, the homeschooling stuff really wasn't working. And on that aspect, I guess I could say, okay, but, ain't nobody jealous of Toya. She probably was just joking or whatever. She was like, listen, the kids at school, I get to have Toya time. I get to go do this. I said, bitch, you've been doing that ever since you got on this show, okay? So who is jealous of you, boo? Girl, stop it. But it's whatever. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of parents out there that was going through the same struggles that Toy was going through, probably still going through with the homeschooling, the virtual learning and things like that, thinking that, some of the kids are not, it's a mix. Some kids are excelling at it, some kids are not, she got to deal with that. And most parents are not used to actually being, full-time parents to their kids, meaning they have to see them all the time, every freaking day, because they're at home with the kids, because the school is out. So everybody has to adjust, and it's just not you, Toya. You know what I'm saying? But when she tried to make that joke about Heavenly, that little boy said, "Mama, it ain't even that funny." Eugene got to go to work, and he tired as hell. And I understand that because, baby, I've been tired this whole last week and just didn't understand. Like, going to bed after 2 o'clock every freaking night and having to wake up at different times. A mess. We ain't talking about me. But moving on from that, let's get to Simone and Cecil and Miles. Okay, Miles still at home, and in this economy, I'm not blaming and I'm not gonna judge, the fact that he's still living at home. He's still like 20 years old, probably, or whatever. He took a year off from school, and I don't know what his problem is, and I don't want to diagnose him because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. But it seems to me, that I don't know, just Miles come off like he a little mentally slow. Like no, I don't want to say slow, mentally delayed in certain areas, okay, or he's just a little delayed in certain areas. I don't even want to call it mental, just a little bit delayed, because some people pick up on things a little bit quicker than others, okay? And college is not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But when I look at this, I'm like, you know what the problem is? The boy is spoiled as hell. He know what he doing, but he just spoiled as hell. And, the fact that you're, 20 years old, if that, and you still got to sit down with your mom and she got to take account of what it is that you're spending, how your bank account is, and are you budgeting, and what you're using this money on and this money on. And I understand we young and, you should be on top of it, but it should be some things that he should be able to do on his own. Like, he should have the basic knowledge of how to take care of himself, regardless of what age he is. I have to save up money. You know what I'm saying? I can't just throw it off on this and that and everything else. When she was going through his bank statement and all the stuff that he was getting and everything, and I was just like, oh my God, boy, why are you getting all this? And it made me think of myself, because, and I say that because, people might think, oh, well, everybody's not the same. And I get that. And of course, I started thinking about myself, because I was paying for college and books and budget and stuff, because I had a job at 18. And the job that I had, I still have to this day. You know what I'm saying? But I've, with my degree, been able to go up in ranks and get to the position where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? I started literally at the bottom and went up, and I'm going up and up. But when I was younger and 18 and started first, doing all that stuff, my mom made sure, I'm not helping you with this, okay? Unless you absolutely need it. That's why you have a job. You have to learn how to budget and do all this stuff. And if you don't have it, bitch, that's just on you, okay? That's how we learn. You know what I'm saying? But like Cecil said, the boy is spoiled, okay? And he probably gonna be in the house for a while. That boy said, well, can I be in the house till I'm 35 because the daddy ain't coming with me? She said, listen, we ain't paying for no apartment. Oh, I said, boy, this not a good look, okay? And granted, this to me sounds like rich kid problems, okay? Like Cecil said, he's growing up a rich kid. Simone don't know nothing about that. And Cecil is literally repeating the pattern with Miles that he went through with his mom. Because last week, Simone told us before he got married, Cecil was still living in his mama's property. You know what I'm saying? The apartment above the garage. And that's the only way he moved out was when he got married. And Simone said that's probably gonna be the same thing that happened with Miles. Okay, Miles is just spoiled. That's all that it is, and he needs to get out of that. He needs to get out of that because 9 out of 10, he probably gonna try to find a woman that's gonna, do all the work. Okay, and I don't know. I don't know. Okay, just spending money over $200 on stuff. I said you spending $200 plus on courses. What courses? Go to school then. Go find something else. Like, is this necessary? What you're spending all this money on, is it necessary? And that's what Simone's point is. Okay, but they gotta nip that in the bud. And what it needs to do, we can say men are or boys are a little bit slower than girls or whatever. This ain't a good look. We gotta nip this in the bud, and he needs to stop being lazy too. That's what he's doing as well. He's being spoiled and he's being lazy. There it is. Miles, you gotta grow up. You have to grow up, and they gotta stop babying his ass. That's what they gotta do. So Anila, she goes over there to Lisa Nicole's boutique, with her clothing line and stuff like that. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm surprised that Lisa Nicole still has this, boutique up. I know she was working on it and probably had it. Yeah, she did have it when she was on the show previously a few years ago. But I'm surprised that she still got it because, you know, she got a little recognition or whatever from the show. She probably was something before that. And then with COVID and a lot of the smaller businesses closing down and things like that, that's a good look. So I ain't even going to shade that, more power to her. And the fact that Anila is like, let me come over here, let me see, check out her merchandise, her clothing, her product, and let me see if I can do the blogging and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure Lisa Nicole called her over there to do it because what other reason would she be over there for, especially if she wasn't going to get paid for it? Listen, but what I love about this scene, we can have I still have my feelings about Lisa Nicole, but I have to give her respect in this aspect because when Anila was trying on them clothes or whatever, and she said, listen, if I put a post up on my Instagram or whatever, that's going to be $400. If I put it up in my stories, that's like $200 or something like that. And Lisa Nicole was like, okay, cool. And I love that because some people get the notion that once we become friends, I can get freebies and shit from your business and stuff like that. They be looking for handouts. They be thinking they're entitled and they ain't got to do this. No, support your friends, okay? Support your friends by actually buying their product. And don't be looking for handouts and stuff all the time or whatever. Unless they volunteer to give you something for free, don't ask them for no free shit, Stop being a cheap bitch and support your friends and, do what you got to do. Moving on from that, she wanted to get Lisa Nicole messy ass, okay? I ain't even gonna call her messy because I would have wanted to know too. She wanted to know what the hell was going on at the party, okay? What happened between you and Toya? And it's the whole she telling people my business and telling people I did this and woo woo woo. And while she was in the midst of trying to explain to her, Anila gets a phone call from Quai, and Quai wants to invite her to come over, they finna have this little party, club quarantine shit going on. And then Lisa Nicole was like, can I come too? And at this point, Quad was like, girl, I don't know. Now, see, I was a little confused because when she was at the party and they've been together on different occasions, they were interacting like everything was all to the good, like everything was put back and they had already apologized and, made up to each other and all that stuff and let bygones be bygones. So I'm going to chalk it up to editing because at this point, Quad was like, I guess you can come. I'm going to extend an invitation. You know what I'm saying? And they go back through their history because that's what I found. I think I mentioned that last week or the week before that they were actually cool with one another after all the mess that they've been through, So that was something. And I was like, all right, cool. Meanwhile, we get to Contessa and Scott. Contessa and Scott's, medical practice is up, okay, and she's enjoying it. Scott comes in and, she has to get this plasma stuff, whatever, put into her head to, make her edges stronger. Bitch, I didn't know nothing about that. That was the first time that I didn't seen something like that. I was like, oh, the things we do to make ourselves look good and feel good about ourselves. Cause bitch, I ain't even gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like, what y'all need that Botox for? What y'all need this plastic surgery for? But what if it make you feel good, go ahead and do it. Okay, just make sure you get the right doctor to do it and make it look natural. But bitch, I'm with Contessa on this part because y'all know how I feel about edges. Okay, I love my edges. You know what I'm saying? I feel if I had some weak edges. Okay, and I pray for everybody that got thinning edges and all that shit. It ain't your fault. Okay, but anyway. So while she up there getting the injections and stuff, getting shot up with the plasma, girl, she up there talking about how she need more time with the practice allow her to have time for herself because she can't do it all with the kids being at home, and it's just a lot that's going on, and the stuff that's going on in their marriage, and Scott not really listening. But then when he do chime in, he basically like, you gotta do like men do and just put that shit to the side, or you know it was just very matter of factly like, girl, get over it, okay? And she like, so what, we gonna do therapy or whatever to get over this hump? He don't want to do that. She suggested, she said, Simone and Cecil, they went through their stuff, and they got through it, and they said that that's what helped them. But Scott is being stubborn, as most doctors and most men are. And at this point, I don't know what's going to happen with Scott and Contessa, but it is getting a little irritating, like I said before, to keep on dragging this out, this little issue that they have, when I feel like if they would have literally just sat down and have real conversations with each other, this would have been, they would have this figured out already. But no, we got to go through this. So, hey, I really hope they don't break up. So, Quad is getting ready for Club Quad Quarantine, and she has a little friend Cameron over there to cook and everything. And he looks like I seen him on another show. Was he on Love and Marriage Huntsville trying to teach your boy how to, set the place and stuff like that at the who restaurant? Marceau and Tisha's restaurant. He looks so familiar, the hair and everything. But if I'm wrong, my bad. Anyway, she invited all the girls over there for a little party, little twerking, a little dinner and all this stuff. And not all the girls, or I should say women, have seen her place. She had to put it out there. That it's like a 4 level. It looked like a 4 level townhouse. Okay, that's what it is. And she wanted Toya specifically to be there so that she can show that this is what you get on bullshit. Because Toya was talking about how, just making the comments about the fact that Quad is renting or whatever, as if there's really anything wrong with renting before you decide to actually buy something, because you don't know if it's permanent or not, or if that's not in your plan to buy and be a homeowner. You just don't know. I don't understand why we have to put down people who buy versus rent versus lease and all that stuff or whatever. Who cares? As long as they have a roof over their head, that should be the issue. I mean, that it shouldn't even be an issue. But moving on from that, um, so they got that going. Then we see Simone and Jackie. Simone comes over there to Jackie's house, and I was just like, wow, so we have turned the corner, because at the beginning of the season, it didn't look too hot for Jackie and Simone, and I was mad about it. Okay, but now they're actually looking like they used to look back in the day. They're laughing with each other, they're talking to each other, they're going over each other's houses. Simone asking Jackie, girl, who did your closet? Did you put this in order, or did somebody else? I put it in order, girl. No, you didn't, bitch, but okay. Then they sit down and they're having a conversation because they're about to get ready to go to Quad's place. And that's what girlfriends do. Sometimes you go over your girlfriend's house to, get ready and stuff like that. And I love that about them right about now. I love seeing this scene with them together because it was missed, okay? But they going over there, and then they was talking about what's going on with Toya lately. Even Toya said it at the beginning in her first scene that she is just tired of them, the fractions in the group, tired of the drama and all this stuff, you know. And they was like, and that's exactly what Simone said, tired of all the mess that's been happening. And, Toya wants to get that closeness back to everybody, get everybody back to where they used to be, where they used to have fun. And Jackie said, but yeah, she has to own her part and her accountability in this whole situation, especially between her and Quad and her and Heavenly. And, it's just a lot. Everybody has to own up to their part. not just put the blame on one person. But I get where Toya's coming from. She frustrated, she got, this is what they're saying, she got her home and it's like people dogging her out about it. Okay. And it's like you give what you put out, okay? You give what you put out. And that's basically what's happening between them. And, everybody has to take accountability for their parts. And that's what's going to happen. Or that's what needs to happen, I should say. So all of the women start showing up. Hemley and Anila, they kind of came in around the same time, and everybody was like, "Oh, girl, you with Anila and everything?" She was like, "Yeah, Anila, cool or whatever," and she called her Anita, and she was like, "Girl, I ain't got time to know these people's names," but she knew exactly who the fuck I was talking about, and I love that little flashback that they had when she was calling Contessa. She was doing that shit on purpose, okay? But anyway, and it's easy to mix up Anila and Anita because, y'all see how I be trying to get her name right. But anyway, everybody's okay. Lisa Nicole shows up and, Quiet invites her in and all that shit. And then Toya brings Carrie. Toya also brings her own drink because I don't know what type of drinks or whatever these people got at these parties. I said these people. Okay, girl. Toya just has this air about her like she thinks she's literally better than everybody and everybody wants her life. Baby, nobody wants your life. You're struggling at this point, okay? You are struggling just like everybody else, okay? You are not all the way there, all right? But at this point, she comes in, she say hello to everybody. Choir was a little confused why Carrie was there, and I was too, and this is what I'm saying about editing. Because they have been at couple events already and they've seen each other around and they even talked to each other. But now when we get to this party and then we get on this episode, it's almost as if this is the first real interaction that they have with each other. And because we all remember, if we've been watching it, if you've been here and watching it since season 1, you know about the drama between Quiet and Carrie. They did not get along at all. And truth be told, Carrie was judging Quiet. And mostly, most of the girls on this show was judging Quad when she came on the first season. They literally thought that Quad was basically beneath them. Thought that she was a little hood, as Nene would say, a little ghetto, a little ratchet. You know what I'm saying? And it just I didn't like it because I went back and I was watching the first season and I just didn't like how they did that girl. They didn't give her a chance. And Quiet would be quiet. Carrie talking about her house and everything, and she was like, but at least you have an elevator in it. She was like, yes, and it's cost me $30,000. That's the difference is $30,000. So you trying to one up the girl in her own home or whatever, and I'm like, what is the purpose? First of all, you were not invited, okay, and that what got me, y'all. I just would not be comfortable enough to come to somebody's event that I was not invited to, was not invited to in person, did not know that I was going to be didn't want to be a plus one, okay? I would never want to be a plus one, you know what I'm saying? I want to have an actual invitation from that person, and especially coming to their home. So this how you know this is all production and shit, because bitch, I wouldn't do that. And the fact that you feel comfortable enough to do that just to get some airtime, I don't trust that, okay? But she was like, we never really got a chance to get to know each other, which is true. Because y'all went at each other's throat, and mostly it was Quad defending herself against Carrie because they was judging her right off the bat, moving on from that, Anila, she's in her feelings because she feels like Toya is icing her out. And she probably is. She came through and, didn't say hello to her, didn't hug her, nothing, didn't acknowledge her. So that's that. So Quad is like, we going to eat. And once we finish eating, let's get this little dance contest going on. So you got Toya, Heavenly, Jackie, and Simone on the team. And they supposed to be doing this little twerk stuff or whatever. And I said, girl, that ain't going to work. Not them old bones, okay? They can't get that low. You know what I'm saying? At least I thought Toya would able to throw some ass, but she didn't. They looked a mess. Then you got Anila, Carrie, and who else was in? Contessa, and it's the fourth one. Who else was at the house? I guess Quiet. I mean, you got them on the team and they doing their stuff. At this point in time, everybody is having a good time. And that's not going to last, okay? Especially when the whole crew is there. It's always got to be something. So, that was Sis Nicole that was on Team B. Okay, they get up there, do whatever it is that they did, you know what I'm saying? And they look no better than Team A. I was like, y'all got asses, but y'all don't know how to work that shit. You know, Carrie and her no ass having self or whatever, looking like me, bitch. Okay. She got up there and she tried. She tried it, okay? She said A for effort or E for effort, bitch. But you know, Quad gave the win to Jackie and them team, which I was surprised by that as well. And so they went upstairs to her terrace. Okay, that's on the fourth floor of her little townhouse, whatever it is that you want to call it. And they was all up in her bedroom and stuff, you know, and shit like that. I was like, okay, you know, I don't let people up in my bedroom. You know, the only people that come up in here is the person that I'm fucking, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. Other than that, y'all don't need to be up in here. But it is what it is, okay? But, you know, Simone and Toya was going up on the elevator, okay? And so Simone was like, you know, we're going to have to talk about what's going on or whatever. You know, y'all going to have to talk about this issue. She was like, girl, whatever. So they get up there, and before Quiet can get up there, whatever, you know, Toya had mentioned to Jackie, because Jackie did look calm, cool, and collected. She was like, you always seem like you in another world. And she was like, you know, that's just how it be sometimes. She was like, not with these girls or whatever. And then Simone interjects and said, I just need you to tell Jackie, let her understand exactly what it is that's going on with you, because you seem so grumpy the last few times that we've seen you and everything. And, you know, she was like, basically trying to give her explanation, you know, not really trying to give one, but trying to give one. And Quiet had came up there, was like, I'm glad Toya came. And even Contessa said, I'm glad Toya came. Okay. And I was just sitting here like, what did I miss? Because the last time we saw a real interaction between Contessa and goddamn Toya, they was going back and forth at each other. I was confused. This a fake bitch and this and that and all this shit. I was confused. Now they're on good terms, you know, and I mentioned it. I noticed that last week too. I was like, what happened? Did we miss something? Did the scene get cut that they made up or whatever? Or did I just forget? Then we get, you know, Quiet saying, well, I gave her the option to come if she wanted to come, you know, but and even Carrie, even though you wasn't invited, you know what I'm saying? Here go Carrie. I'm here because I'm trying to be there for Toya, because Toya feels as though none of the girls have her back. Bitch, at this particular point, I would have been like, Carrie, just be quiet, okay? This is not for you right now. I don't want you to say anything. Just hush. Keep it on the low, okay? Because you weren't even supposed to be there. This is the time that you just shut up and you observe, okay? That's what the part. See, that's what annoyed me about Anila when she got involved in the shit when she first came on, okay? She just got involved, threw herself in there, and didn't know the situation. Carrie, hush, because you only get in one side at this point. You know, you sit back and you observe, okay? You in this girl's house or whatever. But then at this point, Toya was about to say something, and Heavenly came out and said, why don't you talk about how you've been talking about everybody's houses? Quiet, she was talking about your house too. Girl, you know, she goes back and she was like, now Heavenly, why the fuck would you do some shit like that? Now, see, this is the thing. This is the thing. I get where Toya is coming from with her frustration with how the group is going, but you cannot be mad at everybody else and not be mad at yourself as well, okay? And this is where we go back to taking accountability. You have started some things within the group as well. You spoke on people's homes just like other people spoke on your home, okay? And that's why you did it. And then you spoke on other people's stuff that didn't say nothing to you, from what I recall, all right? You get on a live with Cecil, and then you blame it on the fact that you were drunk, okay? You was drunk, whatever. Maybe you need to stop drinking. Maybe you need to limit your alcohol consumption, because once you do consume alcohol, you start acting the ass and saying shit out your ass, and then you want to blame it on that, okay? That's not a good look. You know, that excuse is going to get tired. You know what I'm saying? She pissed off at Heavenly for ruining her buzz, and then her and Quiet get going to it back and forth, whatever. And you know, it is what it is. And at this point, because you did call her little bullshit ass apartment, that's what you said. And you know, you said it yourself. You didn't know whether she was living in an apartment, a box, or whatever, because you never been over here. Okay, you was just saying shit. And then you get into it with Quiet, and you talking about something. I always been a friend to you, and I always did this. But friends don't talk about people. Friends don't go on public platforms and talk about each other like that. That's what you did to her, and so therefore she she did what she did to you, whatever she did. You know what I'm saying? You talked about her house, and now she talked about your shit. And now you want to play victim and want to play like everybody coming after you, and that's not the case. Everybody is guilty in this shit, and everybody needs to own their part. And like Lisa Nicole said, and then she called, she said, you bitch, and you's a bitch, Heavenly. That shit was funny to me. I don't care what nobody said. When she said, "Hey, you a bitch, Heavenly," I was like, "Bitch, what?" She was like, "You always bringing up old shit." I said, "Bitch, the motherfuckers trying to make you call your ass out on the bullshit that you doing because you up here trying to act like you got amnesia and you didn't do nothing. Like these people was coming out of the blue just saying shit about you. Heavenly, on the one hand, could possibly be the one that coming out the blue to say shit, but everybody else, no. You up here going back and forth with Quad trying to put it out there that y'all used to be cool, y'all used to be real good friends and all this shit. So why would you have anything to say? But you did. You did. So now Quad mad and they going back and forth and Heavenly trying to act like she didn't pop this shit off, which she did. Gonna go over there and ask Jackie, "So how was your day?" Jackie like, "Bitch, it was busy." And then Quad and Toya going back and forth with each other as they going down the steps and stuff like that, and you fake and you this and all this shit, you fucking bitch, you this and all this and at my motherfucking house. And then Toya gonna say, and see, here we go again. You just don't learn. And it's still a motherfucking apartment. Who gives a fuck what it is? It's a nice ass apartment, bitch. If it is, okay, that don't look like no fucking apartment. A 4-story fucking apartment, that's a goddamn townhouse. If it's connected, because it looked like it was connected to a row of buildings, that's a fucking townhouse to me, bitch. Okay, and it looked like an expensive one. All right, but then again, it's in Atlanta. Whatever, she can afford it. She living nice. I don't give a fuck, okay? Mind you, you up here talking about people in their homes and you put all this money and energy into building this home that you got, your so-called dream home, and now y'all selling it. After being in it how many years? A couple of years? Now y'all selling it, okay? Like, stop talking down about other people's stuff so that shit won't come back on your ass like it ain't gonna come back on your ass. And look at it. Look at it. You put up this big old front that y'all doing good or whatever the fuck, and obviously you're not because now you finna downgrade. You can't tell me that you're not finna downgrade. That big ass house was sucking up all y'all fucking income and shit. You working Eugene to the fucking bone. Girl, stop it. Maybe y'all need to be up in the goddamn apartment since you talking so much. Cause Toy, you don't do shit. Girl, that made me mad. I said we can't have no get together without anything happening. Y'all arguing with this lady in her own home. Girl, a mess. So Simone goes out there with Toya, bitch. Quiet told Toya to go. She's fake. She's fake. She's a mannequin. Tell that bitch to go stand in the corner and pose. That shit was funny to me. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, Carrie came up there and told Heavenly, bitch, you're mixing it. And Carrie was correct, okay? Because truth be told, there is a time and there is a place. And none of this probably would have popped off had Heavenly not put out there. Well, she was up there talking about people's houses and shit like that. And she was talking about yours, quiet. Girl, shut up, okay? Just sit down and then want to act like she didn't do nothing. You throw the brick, has your hand, bitch, okay? But at the same time, it is something that needed to happen, but it did not need to happen then, okay? And it did not need to go as far as it went. You know, I feel as though Quiet and Toya was on the road to having an actual conversation that was not going to explode. You know, they're two fiery people at this point, and once they get that liquor up in them, and they having a good time, whatever, shit just goes haywire. And that is exactly what freaking happened, unfortunately. You know, Toya outside crying. And even Lisa Nicole was telling her, why don't you just take accountability? Just say you're sorry. You know, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You know, talking about something she tired. She just wanted her friends to be her friends. And then she talking about how Anila ain't her friend no more. Or not being the friend that she thought she would and all that stuff. And all of a sudden now Toya is the victim and it's woe is me. I don't like that because you're not a victim. You are a participant. Okay, you are a participant and you are dealing with consequences of what happened with you participating in bullshit. Okay, regardless of who started it, you know. And like Simone told Quad, you wanted people to be on your side and you felt like people wasn't on your side or whatever back when you was going through what you was going through the year before. That's what Toya feels like now. Okay. She's feeling a little neglected, feeling a little isolated and all this shit or whatever. And, you know, you just need to sit down and you need to talk. And what got me mad or didn't sit right with me was when Toya said she don't understand why Jackie just sitting there and not saying nothing. She called Heavenly a pit bull. Because she do, and I get it. But the part about Jackie not saying nothing, why Jackie needs to say something in something that she didn't start? She's not responsible for what these people say. The shit is between you and goddamn Quiet and heavily inserting herself. So why do they need to get involved? Okay, let y'all grown ass women figure this shit out. I'm so tired of people saying, "Oh, you ain't have my back." What do I need to have your back on? I'm here for you, but I'm not about to sit here and fight your battles when I know you're fucking wrong. What is? Am I wrong? So Simone had to talk to her. Even contestant went out there to talk to her, which I'm surprised. Again, Simone talking to Quiet, saying y'all need to just sit down and you need to talk it out. That's what you need to do. You need to act like you actually care. And they had to calm that shit down because the neighbors across the street, across the way, looking at everything, they fucking pissed off because they acting a fucking fool on the goddamn balcony, and it was just a mess, unnecessary mess that didn't need to happen. I blame Heaven. I blame that bitch. Anyway, y'all tell me how y'all felt about it, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.